Well, hi everyone, Sean Humphreys here. Welcome to All Things Retirement. Well, in this installment, we are going to follow up on a previous video that talked about important traits that we should strive to cultivate well in advance of retirement and through our retirement years. So this video will extend on that topic and focus on one specific trait that we think is really important. Now, if you're new to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're posting content all the time on various aspects of retirement planning, getting ready to retire and transitioning into retirement and being successfully retired. So if you don't want to miss future content, hit subscribe. Now, we ended the last video on this topic by identifying 5 characteristics that are really critical to cultivate. And those characteristics can be summarized as connectivity, challenge, curiosity, creativity, and charity. So we're going to focus on each of those traits in future videos. Today's video, we are going to focus on connectivity. So connectivity is basically relationships. Now, before I get into the topic, let's just talk about a little country called Sardinia, an island. And what's interesting about Sardinia is it has 10 times the number of centenarians than we have in North America. And we've heard about the studies, different groups around the world that have longevity and health. And you think that the Sardinians have experienced this wonderful longevity because of moderating salt intake, getting lots of exercise, going up and down mountains, and maybe eating a Mediterranean diet. Now, I'm not saying those things aren't important, but it turns out that Susan Pinker, a psychologist, did a review of that people group. And what they found was they experienced longevity, they believed, chiefly, this is psychologist Susan Pinker, chiefly through the close personal relationships that they had and face-to-face interactions with other people and their deep connections in their communities. They found in their studies that that was one of the most important areas of longevity. Now, what's really interesting about that study, let's say that it can be replicated throughout all the different demographic groups, and the reading of Susan's work is that that's the fact, that relationships and connections are extremely important. Why is it then that so many people, when they retire, basically move from an area where they've spent decades, all of a sudden lift themselves up out of that community and move to brand new communities? Now, there's some legitimate reasons for doing that, obviously. It could be because you're going to an area where there's recreational pursuits, better climate. Maybe your kids have moved out there and you want to be closer to your children. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do those things. But you want to, before you make that move, you want to make sure that you, in a clear-minded way, assess the value of your current relationships, your involvement in your community, your family, your connectivity, because you have received a lot of benefits from those relationships over the years. And if you move away from the community, you want to be very intentional about how you can replicate that sense of community in the new area that you will be residing. Now, one tip is before you retire out to that new community, use your holiday time, sabbatical time, to go out to those communities and live like you're retired in those communities. Better still, see if there's ways that you can build connections in advance of moving there permanently. And then just reflect as well, is this a good idea for you? Maybe you could stay in your current community, but have the ability to go out to those areas for better climate and recreational pursuits throughout the year, but you don't just rip yourself out of those communities that you've spent so many years building relationships. So that's one tip. Connectivity is really important. It's closely related to longevity, health, a sense of fulfillment. So don't take it for granted. Sometimes people do, and they come to regret making those changes. Well, it's my hope you found the video helpful. Again, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, click like. And if you're beginning to think about your own retirement, maybe you are not retired yet, but you think you need to get very intentional in your planning, and maybe you are retired, but you're not sure whether your current plan is up to the task, make sure you click the link that'll take you to our webpage where we talk about how you can get access to a complimentary retirement plan. As well, there's some free retirement educational resources that you might find helpful. Anyway, wishing you all the best in your retirement journey and your overall wealth planning. You take care. Bye-bye.